Here with Sammy Piccolo, the matchmaker for West Coast Promotion Seeing Red 2. Now this is the second event that you guys are having in 6 months. I mean, I was taking a look at the fight card. We're talking about 16 fights.
Yep.
How did you manage to put that together?
You know, other people are eating stuffing on Christmas, and I'm calling MMA fighters and coaches trying to get some of the best fights I can for the fans. Yeah, so our last fight was in December. We're going to have another one in February. We're going to have another one in April. Then June, we're just not going to stop. We're going to do 8 shows a year. So.
All right. Now, you're the matchmaker for these fights. You put these fighters up together. And I was looking at it, and there's some very well-matched opponents that it's really hard for anybody to call those fights. So what kind of mind state, what do you look for when you're putting fight against each other?
Well, for me, one thing, you know, when I've been going to watch fights, I don't like seeing someone who's 4-0 going against a guy who's 0-0. Because amateur boxing, amateur MMA, amateur kickboxing, it's about developing the fighter and making them better professionals. So, you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, having 10, 15 amateur fights. So I really want, you know, somewhat even matches. I don't want mismatches. I'm not going to go around the coach's back. I'm going to make sure, the first person I phone is always the coach. And, you know, I want to establish a good relationship with the coaches, and obviously I want everyone to have fights they want. So another thing that I think is going to help them have, you know, really good fights is everyone's got 6 to 8 weeks notice. And yeah, people like Tricky Nick. Tricky Nick's going to have, you know, harder opponents, you know, coming up. We have a #1 contender match for him this match. You know, we have a guy named Bronson Peterson who's 3-0, who's fighting for that #1 contender match. So, you know, we're going to be putting people against champions, but they have to earn their fights. So they have to fight in our division. I mean, in our organization. And yeah, you know, we're going to develop people. We're not going to just throw people from other organizations in for title shots as well. So people, we're going to develop them. We're going to develop them inside our organization and against fights they want, and you know, at their level.
All right. Well, just in case people don't understand how that works, just explain that to me again. Right now, Tricky Nick Marinos is the welterweight champion for West Coast Promotions.
Yeah.
And at this next card, February 18th, there's going to be a #1 contender, meaning that Bronson Peterson, who is from Comox Valley, and is going against
the Mangler Mazarul from Clinch for Life.
Okay.
We're having another #1 contender match. So we're Walter Varios is going to be fighting Vaz Lep.
Okay.
So the winner of that's going to fight the winner of Pratt versus Vaida.
Okay.
And yeah, we're gonna have a few #1 contender fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for different weight categories, you guys are going to have #1 contender fights, and those guys already know that if they win that fight, they'll be able to get a shot at the belt.
And champions are champions. So champions have to fight almost, you know, the person that earns the title shot.
Yeah.
You know, champions aren't going to be able to just pick their shots. That's the only guy who's not going to be able to pick shots in our organization.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Now, my other question is that how do I become a matchmaker? How did you get into the matchmaking business?
You know, I've known Manny. You know, Manny was actually one of my PE teachers. I boxed. I was 3-1 as a boxer. I was 4-0 as a kickboxer. I had some great coaches growing up, like Chris Frankel, Simon Poser, Manny Sabrell, and I'm a huge fight fan, man. You know, I watch probably 300-400 fights a year. I have, you know, my HD net. I have my Fight Network. Constantly PBRing fights and going to fights. So I feel like I have a good grasp at this, and yeah.
All right. Do you feel that gives you you can relate better with the fighters?
I totally think so, but at the same time, that was 8 years ago, so I don't know if the fighters can relate to me. But you know...
but as far as treating them and giving them the right fights and matching them...
I don't want to insult any promoters or anything like that, but you know, I'm going to make sure that the fighter is taken care of. They're happy. If they're not happy, I want to be the type of guy they can just give a call and say, hey Sammy, you know, I'm not happy about this. And you know, I just want to really develop that relationship. And like I said, amateur sports is about developing a fighter and helping them become better athletes in the future. So, yeah.
Now, you have 2 #1 contender fights on that card, but you also have 4 actual title fights that night.
Yeah.
Want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I do. Joe Halfar is going to be fighting Logan Martins for 165 Muay Thai title. Logan Martins has freaking the heaviest right hand I've seen in a long time. That guy winds it up like a baseball pitch. He has some really good leg kicks. But on the other hand, we got this guy, Joe Halfar. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He has devastating kicks. Like, we were just doing some interviews today, and there wasn't anyone to hold Thai pads. Like, my arms are still shaking from holding the Thai pads for them. So that's gonna be a devastating fight. 5 2-minute rounds. Then we have Emilio Di Trocchio. He's 4-0. You know, his last fight was against a guy who was 0-0. So this is going to be a test. You know, Rob Woodcock, you know, he's a provincial wrestling champion. You know, in order to be a provincial wrestling champion, you spend a lot of hours in the dungeon training and working. He's 3-2. This is the first time he's had a chance to actually have 6 weeks to train for a fight. So let's see what can happen there. I'm excited about that fight. Maurice Showtime Sojin versus Andrew Sinister Small. That's going to be the main event. You know, they're both. You know, for me, this fight is pretty equal because these guys both throw hard punches and hard kicks. They're really good stand-up fighters, but at the same time, both have really good hit movement on the ground. They both ended their fights by triangle choke. So for me, that one's a toss-up. And the other fight, Pratt versus Oliver, man, that's going to be good because Pratt, he's like 5'4", but he takes the guy down and he punches with pinpoint accuracy, like when he's inside the guy's guard. He fought Abdul Majid last card, and who's a really good jiu-jitsu fighter. He's really good on his back, but he was getting hit so hard he forgot all about his jiu-jitsu. And on the other hand, you know, Oliver fought Ronald Diaz, and you know, he's no slouch. So if your big brother is Ryan Diaz, you're going to be a tough guy. And that was fight of the night, you know, and that deserved to be fight of the night. And he's 3-0. Okay, this kid, that's going to be a great fight. Just so you guys know, my prediction for fight of the night, it's going to be Jared Payne versus Victor Wang. Jared Payne, people don't know who this guy is, but he's 10-1 as a kickboxer. He was ranked in Cambodia. So Cambodia, there's some really good stand-up fighters in Cambodia. They go head-to-head with them in Thailand. And then everyone knows Victor Wang has bad intentions. He kicks hard, he punches hard. You know, you got to be crazy to be smiling in the ring, and he's there and he's laughing the whole time. So that for me is going to be fight of the night, and I don't think that one's going to the ground.
All right. Now, something else that's always a crowd pleaser, a fan pleaser, is that you're having, for the third time this time, Cheryl Chan from Mendoza Martial Arts. She's going against Britt Solis from Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
And we don't see that many girls in MMA here locally.
And just so you know, that's a #1 contender fight. Winner of that fight's going to cut down to 115, and they're going to fight Sarah McLeod for the title in April.
Nice. Okay. And yeah, how'd you develop? How does girl MMA? How'd you develop that? Because I mean, you guys have had Cheryl Chan at the last 3 shows, the last 2 shows, and she always puts in 100%. You know, she defeated Sarah McLeod the first time, and then the last time she lost to Stephanie, and now she's fighting again, and she's always there putting 100%.
Yeah. She'll fight anybody at any weight. Like she'll fight at 115 and she'll fight at 135. Is that smart? No. But do we get enough fights for girls right now? We don't as well. So unfortunately for women, they might have to do that. You know, how do we get more women fighting? I think they gotta be out there, and I think we gotta have these fights. We gotta have title fights, and then girls are gonna be like, you know, hey, I can do that, and they gotta understand there's a safe environment for them to fight in, and whatever we can do to help them develop as fighters, we'll do it.
All right, and one last thing I want to touch base on. At the weigh-ins, the day before the event, you guys are actually having a ring girl competition.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Our weigh-in is going to be at Woody's Pub and Brunette. It's known as BC's busiest sports bar. There's going to be about 200-300 people there. It'll be on just after the hockey game, and we're also going to have a ring card girl competition. So we're gonna have 2 girls get to be ring card girls for the night. So that's going to be awesome. You know, we might do some stuff with BC MMAA there as well. It's going to be so fun, you know. It's about time we brought the weigh-ins outside of the casino, and hopefully we can sell some tickets there that night if they aren't sold out already. I have a feeling this show is going to sell out really, really fast. We have 4 exciting title fights, and it's not just that. We have so many. I think we have the best 135-pound division in BC. That's just my personal opinion. And we have like 3-4 135-pound matches, and we know those are freaking exciting. We have Jared Payne versus Victor Wang. It's going to be a great card.